pull into an empty space, turn off the ignition, and you think, great, free parking.
Right, it feels like a win.
Yeah, it feels like a minor daily victory. But that little rectangle of asphalt is actually costing your city up to $70,000.
Which is wild when you actually break the numbers down.
It really is. So welcome to the deep dive. Whether you are, prepping for a local city council meeting or you're just insanely curious about how cities actually work behind the scenes, we're going to completely flip your perspective on parking today.
You really are.
Okay, let's unpack this. We are looking at a stack of sources today. We've got a 2020 report on the City of Vancouver's Sustainable Commuting Program, some really eye-opening economic papers from Transport for London, and global data from the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy.
And the main focus here, the primary goal of this deep dive, is explaining exactly how municipalities can use parking fees to, directly finance incentives for sustainable transportation.
Right, and we're analyzing the massive, completely surprising financial advantages this creates for the city itself, because I've got the perfect expert with me to connect the dots between urban geography and municipal economics.
Well, thanks. And, while parking seems like this incredibly boring necessity, it is actually this massive, untapped financial lever. It can totally reshape how a city breathes and functions.
So let's start with the baseline problem, the hidden economics of quote-unquote free parking. I mean, free parking is incredibly expensive for the municipality, and it fundamentally contradicts climate goals.
Exactly.
There's this concept, the high cost of free parking, from urban planners like Donald Shoup. And think of it like this. Free parking is like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, where even if you just drink a glass of tap water, you're still secretly paying the $30 cover charge.
Right, it's just hidden.
Yeah.
Hidden in your taxes, your rent, everything.
What's fascinating here is when you look at real-world data. So Vancouver city staff is a perfect case study. Right now, about 46% of their staff drive alone to work. And the city provides about 4,000 of its own employees with access to free parking.
Which sounds like a nice perk.
It does, but let's do the staggering math on this. Every single undeveloped parking stall in Vancouver requires between 180 and 350 square feet.
Wow, okay.
And in that real estate market, each spot is worth between $36,000 and $70,000.
Wait, really? A single parking spot?
A single spot. So by offering this free perk, the city is essentially paying about $7 million a year in opportunity costs.
Just to store cars?
Just to store empty cars.
Yeah.
And it gets worse. By subsidizing this, they are encouraging their own staff to live further away.
Oh, right, because you can just drive in for free.
Exactly. So these employees live in the suburbs, pay their property taxes to a different municipality, and then drive into Vancouver, bringing congestion and pollution with them.
So the city is paying $7 million a year to pollute itself and lose tax revenue.
Basically, yes.
Okay, so if giving away parking is financially draining the city and causing all this traffic, how can a municipality ethically reverse this without causing a massive employee revolt?
Well, this leads us to the mechanism of funding sustainable transit, flipping the script, essentially.
Right.
The Vancouver Sustainable Commuting Program, the SCP, proposed a solution. They had a program deficit of up to $1.6 million for green incentives.
And nobody wants to raise general taxes for that.
Exactly. So instead of raising taxes, they just charge a modest fee for those formerly free staff parking spots, like $10 a month, or even better, a daily rate of 50 cents to $5.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because they collect those fees, right?
Yeah.
And then they use that exact revenue to fund tangible rewards for the non-drivers.
Let's close the loop.
Yeah, carrots and sticks. If you walk or bike, you get up to $50 a month in gift cards through platforms like Gorkadot.com, or you get up to a 20% transit rebate.
And this isn't just a theory, it works. A great historical example is the Seattle Children's Hospital.
Oh, right, the 1994 data.
Yeah. In 1994, 78% of their staff drove alone. 78%.
That is a lot of cars.
So they started charging staff for parking, but, and this is crucial, they only allowed daily rates.
To avoid the sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. If you pay for a monthly pass, you have that mentality of, well, I already paid for the month, so I might as well drive.
Right, even if it's a nice day and you kind of want to ride your bike.
Precisely. So daily rates only. And they offered a $3.50 daily commute bonus for active transit.
So you wake up and say, do I pay $5 today or do I make $3.50?
Yes. The friction is intentional. And by 2019, they dropped their drive-alone rate to just 33%.
That is a massive behavioral shift.
Yeah.
But wait, people hate losing perks. I mean, status quo bias is real. Won't employees fight this tooth and nail?
Well, humans naturally resist change. That's a given. And that's why the sources point to Copenhagen's model.
Okay, how do they handle it?
They didn't do it overnight. They remove about 2 to 3% of parking spaces every single year.
Oh, so it's gradual.
Very gradual. They slowly wean the public off auto dependency while incrementally raising parking costs in the city center to about $5 an hour.
It's like boiling a frog, but, in a good eco-friendly way.
Exactly. It gives people time to adapt to the new transit features being built.
Okay, so paying employees to bike sounds super nice for the employees, but what is in it for the city's bottom line? Like, why should local government care about subsidizing bikes?
This is where we get into the municipal gold mine. It's about space and efficiency.
Right.
Remember those $70,000 parking stalls in Vancouver?
Yeah.
The second funding option for the city is divesting that real estate, selling or repurposing just 6 to 44 underused parking stalls a year.
Oh, wow.
Because if you don't need them for cars, you can sell them, turn them into laydown yards, or use them for facility expansions. It creates massive municipal wealth or saves the city from having to buy new land.
And the spatial efficiency is just crazy.
Right.
You can fit, what, like 10 bicycles into a single car parking space?
Easily. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Transport for London, or TfL data, is stunning. They found that for every £1 spent on cycling infrastructure, there is a £13 return.
Wait, really? A 13-to-1 ROI? That is, what stock is giving you 13-to-1?
Right, and it's because of jobs and local supply chains. Cycling infrastructure creates up to 34 local jobs per $1 million spent.
Because it's local labor, right?
Yeah.
Pouring concrete, grade, and sidewalk.
Exactly, compared to just 8 jobs for traditional road spending, which usually goes to huge, non-local, heavy machinery firms.
That makes total sense.
But the other massive financial benefit is reducing congestion and wear and tear. Congestion costs London £9.5 billion a year in lost productivity.
1.5 billion? With a B.
With a B. And segregated cycle lanes are just better at moving humans through tight spaces. During morning peak hours on Blackfriars Bridge, the cycle lanes move 1,938 people per hour.
Okay.
The adjacent car lanes, which are wider, only move 1,542.
The bikes literally just process more taxpayers to the same bottleneck.
Yes. And furthermore, a bicycle causes 165,000th the wear and tear on municipal roads compared to a car.
165,000th.
Yes. So by moving people out of cars, you are drastically slashing the city's road maintenance budget. Potholes, asphalt patching, all of it goes down.
Okay, so the city saves on real estate, road maintenance, and congestion. But what about the local economy? Because if I'm a local business owner, I want parking right out front so people can buy my stuff, right?
That is the assumption, yes.
Yeah, taking away parking sounds like retail suicide. Doesn't losing parking kill local business?
That is probably the biggest myth in urban planning. The TfL data completely dismantles this. They did a study on Lee Bridge Road.
Okay, what happened there?
The retailers they genuinely believed that 63% of their customers drove to the shops.
All right.
But when they actually measured it, only 20% did.
Oh, wow. That is a massive disconnect. It's the windshield perspective. The shop owner drives, so they assume everyone else drives.
Exactly. And the reality is, improving walking and cycling conditions actually boosts retail trade by up to 30%.
I love this detail from the sources. The economics of the pedestrian.
Yeah.
Customers who walk or cycle visit shops like 12 to 16 times a month.
Yes.
Compared to just 8 visits for drivers. Because, when you're walking, the barrier to entry is 0. You see a bakery, you smell a croissant, you just walk in.
Right. You don't have to find a parking spot. And because of that frequency, walkers actually spend 40% more overall.
40% more. That's huge for a local business.
It is. Cycle parking delivers 5 times the retail spend per square meter compared to car parking. Plus, retail vacancies actually drop by 17% on streets with cycle infrastructure.
So it's a total retail boom.
It is. But this raises an important question. What happens to a city's healthcare burden when its citizens physically move more?
Oh, the health dividend.
Yes. If every Londoner walked or cycled for just 20 minutes a day, just 20 minutes of incidental commuting, the NHS would save £1.7 billion over 25 years.
That is staggering. Just from a daily commute.
Because it creates massive reductions in chronic illnesses. Type 2 diabetes drops by 35 to 50%.
Right.
Depression goes down. Alzheimer's rates decrease.
And it makes sense, right? Because it's habituated. You don't have to force yourself to go to the gym. You just have to get to work.
Exactly. It's baked into your day.
And going back to how cities can track this, using apps like Gorkadot.com, the point allocation is brilliant
It really is.
because transit users get 15 points, bikers get 20, but walkers get 25 points. They reward walkers the absolute most because a pedestrian takes up the least municipal space, only like 20 square feet when moving, and costs the city the absolute least in infrastructure.
They are essentially subsidizing the behavior that is most profitable for the municipality.
So what does this all mean? Let's synthesize this. We started by looking at a financial drain, subsidized space hogging, free parking,
Right.
and we've seen how a city can transform that exact same space into a green funding engine.
Just by charging a daily rate.
Exactly. By charging a daily rate for a parking space, a city can actually pay its citizens to bike or walk. They drastically reduce road maintenance, they boost local retail by 30%, and they save billions in healthcare.
And, it's important to remind people this isn't some ideological war on cars.
Right, right.
It is just smart, basic municipal economics. It's about recognizing that city streets are meant to move people, not store empty metal boxes.
That is the perfect way to put it. And I want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought to mull over today. If parking fees can entirely fund a city's green revolution while making citizens healthier and wealthier, what other quote-unquote free urban spaces are we completely mispricing right now?
That's a great question.
Right. Next time you walk past a massive half-empty parking lot, ask yourself, what could that space actually be doing for you? Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive, and keep questioning the world around you.